right, well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for joining us today, and I hope you're all doing well. This is the Soapbox at Lunchbox Time Daily webinar. I'm your host, Laura Moore, and today we're going to be doing the Soapbox platform overview and demo. So we will be doing an overview of the e-commerce fulfillment process. We'll have our Soapbox demo. We'll go over best practices recommendations. And finally, we'll have a Q&A at the very end. And if you'd like to ask any questions for that Q&A, there's a section at the bottom of your Zoom screen where you can type out those questions for us, and we'll get them answered for you at the very end of the webinar. So now we are going to get into all of this. All right, so now we're going to do a brief overview of all of the topics that we discussed in the webinars this week. So to start, what is your e-commerce business? And as we discussed earlier this week, it doesn't matter where you're selling online. As long as you're selling online, you have an e-commerce business. This could be through custom orders from direct messaging or emails. This could also be through your own storefront website, which would be something like www.mystore.com, where you have your own URL. An e-commerce business could also be through a marketplace, which is a place where you would list your products among other similar product listings. And a marketplace is going to be something like Amazon, Etsy, or eBay. As far as custom orders for a small business, with this, you likely have an Instagram or a Facebook page. You're sharing the products or your ideas to your followers, and then you're taking messages directly and taking orders directly from your customers. The alternative custom order is that you've got products and you're able to go to different farmers markets, trade shows, and so on. You can take orders directly from your end users physically and then ship them out when you're ready. So those are the two kinds of custom orders that will translate to an e-commerce business. Next, we have storefronts, and storefronts are fantastic because you're still providing your vision of your business for your customers and your products, but it is a customizable experience, e-commerce experience. So whatever you want your site to be, you can make it happen. And there are a lot of options, from something that's very simple, like an Instagram store, where you can just make a post and then sell what's on that post. Or you could have an entire customized experience through basically any of the sites that you see out there. Some of them provide cookie cutters and templates, like Squarespace and Wix. Others allow you to customize pretty much every little detail, and this would be somebody like WooCommerce, Shopify, and pretty much all of the other ones that are out there. The third option to sell online is marketplaces. Marketplaces are generally places where you are one of many products in the ecosystem. People can go into the site and they can search for your products. And to name a few, this would be Amazon, Google Shopping, Walmart.com, eBay, and Etsy. All of these exist as marketplaces where the focus is generally on the products and not necessarily the brands. So those are the three e-commerce types. You have custom orders, storefronts, and marketplaces. So next, once you've got your orders and they're coming in, this is when order and inventory management comes in. So what is order management? As a brief summary, order management is essentially when you get orders into your business, wherever you're getting them from, you now have to see what the orders are. You personally validate the orders through checking your platforms, and your platforms will also validate the information. So, for example, did they place an order of a product that you have? Is the shipping information correct? Do you have enough inventory for you to fulfill these orders, etc.? And order management is really important because you want to be able to fulfill all of the orders that are coming in. You don't want any delays of shipping out your products, and you want to make sure that you've got enough inventory across all of your platforms to be able to fulfill it. So the process is that the customer places the order online, the platform then checks the order, and then you as the merchant would confirm that order. And that confirmation may not necessarily be something like a check mark. You might just get an email from your store that says you've got an order coming in. So that's order management in a nutshell. And as your business becomes a little more sophisticated, order management will also include things like listing. Listing is when you put your products on your e-commerce store, you put in the price, the cost, and so on. So that's also part of order management as well, because you're controlling what that order looks like from a pricing perspective, from a volume perspective. So once you've confirmed, you're ready to fulfill your order. Next is inventory management. Inventory management goes hand in hand with order management. There are three main aspects of inventory management as it relates to e-commerce. There's reconciliation, run rates, and restock. Reconciliation is very important, especially if you've got multiple storefronts. As you expand your footprint into different marketplaces and storefronts, whether you have a Shopify store and you're looking to get into Etsy or eBay, you have to make sure that you've got the same inventory across all of the sales channels. It's really important that you manage that effectively, whether it's manually on a spreadsheet or some other way. And we covered run rates earlier this week, but I wanted to get back into this a little bit more. This is for e-commerce performance. You will have a better understanding of how your e-commerce is doing, how quickly your products are moving, and the products in your inventory based on the run rates. And using this, you can adjust your listings for each of the products according to its performance and better manage the supply chain. Finally, restocking is very important across all of your platforms, not just physically, but digitally as well. And earlier this week, we talked about inventory alerts, having a minimum threshold for your products, making sure and also making sure that you've got the right flags to be able to replenish your stock. All right, so once you are ready to fulfill your orders, this is when packaging, shipping carriers, and pick, pack, label all come into play. So first you have your packaging, and there are basically 3 types of packaging that you can use. There are mailers, boxes, and flat rates. Each one of these have different costs, different shipping costs, different types of protections, and perks. Mailers, for example, are very good for small, lighter items. They're very cheap to purchase, and they're generally cheaper to ship, but the protections are also generally a little bit lower as well. Boxes generally have a medium to high cost to them, but their shipping costs can range from very cheap, almost as cheap as mailers, to very expensive, just depending on the weight. And boxes obviously offer high protection for your products, and it's really great for multiple product orders. So if you have more than one order, having a box to protect all of your items is going to be your best bet. And then when it comes to flat rates, these are a mixture of mailers and boxes. This is available through USPS, and these boxes are actually free. These shipping costs are very low with them, they have high protection, and there's no weight limit. So regardless of where you're shipping it to, it's going to cost the same no matter what the contents of the orders are. And next we have shipping carriers. As far as shipping carriers, they are actually more or less similar, but there are certain things with each one that stand out, as well as things that we would and would not recommend. FedEx and UPS are obviously very similar. FedEx has fantastic express rates with 2-day and 1-day shipping. FedEx has a lot of freight options for larger items, so that's going to be your best bet for your larger items. USPS is fantastic for mailers and small parcels, and nobody can beat the prices for them. It's the only service provider that provides free packaging through flat rates, and there's no hidden fees, so you purchase the label and that's what you pick. And we go further into the pros and cons of each shipping carrier in our Thursday webinar, so make sure to check that out this upcoming week for some more info on shipping carriers. All right, so now that you have your packaging and you have your shipping carrier lined up, let's get into pick, pack, and labeling. So to start, just a quick refresh, what is pick, pack, and labeling? Picking your product is essentially once you've got your order and you're ready to fulfill it, you have to then go into your inventory and pick those products that are part of your order. So that's why it's called a pick list. You're picking the orders from your inventory, and your pick list will generally tell you what to pick, where to pick it, and how many to pick. And once you're organized and you're ready to go with your pick list, then you're going to want to take a look at your pack list. And your pack list is basically all of the orders that you have processed. So what the items are, what each order is, where it's being shipped out to, and ideally what type of packaging you want to be able to use. And finally, we have labeling. So everybody here should know what labels are. Your label will typically include your carrier ID, your service, your customer information, and any special note for that package. And then with these labels, you can label all of your common orders. All right, so that's just a recap of all the topics we talked about this week, and our recommendations and tips here are going to be in the same vein. They're going to be the highlights of the recommendations and tips that we talked about this previous week. So first, identify your breadwinning products and focus on them. What this means is rather than having a diverse product portfolio, try to focus on products that are going to make you a lot of money and have a larger volume for them. 2, diversify your e-commerce footprint as soon as possible. Where you want to expand is your e-commerce footprint, because if you have 1,000 products, but you've only got 5 different SKUs, you're really only managing those 5 different things across different platforms. And that's going to be a lot more manageable than managing 100 different things on 2 platforms. And it's also so much easier with all the tools that are available now to diversify where you're selling your products. 3, pay attention to your product churn and run rates. Make sure that you're paying attention to the numbers that are available to you and making sure that 1, you don't sell out, and 2, you're not overstocking something, because these items are taking up space and you're a small business, so that space is very important. If you're selling out of your spare bedroom or garage, you don't want things to just be sitting there collecting dust, so pay attention to what you're selling and how well they're selling. 4, try not to run out of inventory. This will be opportunities missed. You have all the data in front of you to make sure that you understand what your product churn is and what your run rates are, Use that to calculate based off of your supply chain when you can get your product, when you can make your product, and just make sure that you don't run out of inventory, because people want to pay you, but they can't if you run out of inventory, and this will end up being money lost at the end and an opportunity lost. 5, minimize the types of shipping packaging that you're using. You don't need to have a different package for every single one of your items. You don't need a different unique package. So we advise that you try to use 1 or 2 different types of packaging for your packages as you ship them out, maybe one for individual orders and then a larger one for either orders that have more than one product or that are a little bit larger. And by doing this, you can also get discounts off of your shipping packaging. Like say you order 500 of a package versus 100, this could save you 30 to 40% on your shipping costs, and you're going to be using this packaging anyway, so you might as well save by going ahead and buying it in bulk, which leads into our 6th point, which is by minimizing your shipping packages that you're using, you can purchase them in bulk and save even more money that way. 7, don't offer expedited shipping unless a customer asks. So this is something we talk about a lot during our webinars. 1 or 2 day shipping is not necessary. This is an Amazon thing, and it's pretty much exclusively an Amazon thing. And just because they offer that 1 or 2 day shipping does not mean that you are required to. You're a small business, so you want to focus on making your business profitable and not charging or being charged an arm and a leg for your shipping. So 1 or 2 days is just not necessary. And of course, if someone requests that 1 or 2 day shipping or they want it expedited, they can pay for the shipping and you can provide that for them, and that's totally fine. But for you as a merchant, just generally speaking, try to offer the cheapest ground rates and potentially even offer free shipping to your customers through this. And if you're offering free shipping, you don't want to go with the most expensive option, you'd want to go with the cheapest option, and that's generally going to be ground 3 to 5 day shipping. And people love free shipping. I think people love it even more than the expedited shipping oftentimes, so keep that in mind as you build out your costs for your products. 8, take the time to shop shipping rates. Make sure that you are using the right rates and that you're not using a small parcel for large items, because you will get heavily penalized for this. 9, connect with your customers early, often, and follow up. Make sure that you're following up after your sales. If there's anything that looks funky with their information they send you regarding their order, make sure you reach out and confirm that information with them. Basically, just any chance you have to make that connection with your customer, take it, and they will appreciate you personally reaching out to them, adding that personal touch, and this will help ensure their return business as well. And 10, our 10th point here that we always have, is to use Soapbox. Soapbox actually is a platform that can do all of these things that we have talked about this week. It addresses a lot of these pain points that come with e-commerce fulfillment and inventory, and all of it is included in our plan, and we're very excited to show that to you now with our platform demo. So with that, we are going to start that demo for you. Oh, well, it's just us today, so I'm probably just going to skip the demo. But I hope you guys all have a great weekend. I'll talk to you later.